I got one of these. I finally. Your money's going somewhere, folks. It looks almost. No, it doesn't look like anything. Well, hi. I just got back from this.
We came to a shitlord meeting and like fucking hundreds of people turned up. There he is.
Hey. Hello, Mike.
I still have a lot of footage to show you from this.
When will YouTube be diverse enough?
You know, honestly,
And even more footage to show you from this.
This is Sydney. It's a rubbish name for a city. Might as well call it Dave. I'll meet you in Dave.
But as you may have noticed, I'm covering the smallest projects first. Ironic of me to call the London Shitlord meetup the smallest project when it was the largest crowd of people we've ever drawn.
Turns up and it turns into a fucking drum circle.
This is a very weird stage in the evolution of an idea. Ideas grow in stages, amorphous stages like fluid, and morphic stages like globules in another fluid. Sometimes they conglomerate, sometimes they merge. A good idea is an idea that can survive that process, that slow transformation. A good idea, or at least an idea with longevity, is an idea that remains good even when divorced from its originator. Like it works no matter who came up with it. If you take everything Einstein said, if a child had come up with that, said, if there's a solar eclipse, those stars are going to appear to change position and I can mathematically explain why, you'd go, holy crap, that child's a genius. But if you take everything Karl Marx said and have a child say it, everyone should share, everyone should get along. By the way, me, I want, gimme mine. Yeah, that's just a child. That's just a normal child. Or indeed, Jesus. Or that other guy. Just saying, if you want your religion to last, I wouldn't recommend electing a living messiah. Because after that, you've got about 2,000 years before you nosedive. I only just noticed the Wagamama's logo. Am I the only one seeing this? It's smiling. A good principle to stand by, and with consistency, Hank, is to make it about ideas, not about individuals. Yes, I'm aware of the irony there, Hank. Thank you. But this is the problem. One of the ideas for which we stand is individualism, as opposed to collectivism, and free speech, as opposed to censorship. The shared interest we all have, all of us, yes, even the dark horses and the jokers, who'd like to think otherwise, is the free speech of individuals. Not just companies, not just governments, not just endorsed celebrity individuals, but every individual, no matter how unpopular or unpalatable, should be allowed to express ideas.
But why can't Islamic preachers say their things without being arrested?
Because they're actually inciting violence.
That's my answer as well.
In other words, if you make rules, don't break your own rules.
Rules. He says that you shouldn't talk in the bathroom at all. But the only time you shouldn't talk is when I'm having a piss.
It's different rules for different situations.
Yeah.
We like free speech, but we're not fundamentalists. Well, I'm not. I can't speak for anyone else.
And I don't think you can hear anything. Sorry.
These funny paradoxes are all artifacts of the transformation, from pure fluid idea to idea that conglomerates around individuals. Individuals in that ever-elusive form of reluctant leaders. Individuals who didn't want to be leaders but ended up having the position thrust upon them by the very meritocracy for which they advocate. It's the great double-sided irony that collectivists, like communists and theists, have no problem selecting a leader. This is one of the first things they do every time they have a revolution. It's like a sheep leading other sheep. It's easy. Isn't it, Jeremy? Whereas individualists can't find an individual willing to lead them. They have to create a functioning free marketplace of ideas before anyone is even eligible. It's like a cat leading other cats. And you know what they say about herding cats. Well, it turns out the only way to herd cats is psychically. Let them wander off wherever they like and just communicate with each other across the void at light speed. And since that shit doesn't exist, we discovered electromagnetism, and now we can literally do that. I'll never get used to that. That was Melbourne, by the way, my biggest meetup ever, until the one after that. Here we are again, sitting quietly in the front row. And then the one after that.
Daunting. I see why it's daunting.
I've been meeting with a lot of people who want to meet me, which can only be described as a privilege and a precious resource. So one can hardly complain about having it, and yet having a lot of it is, as I said, daunting. Imagine it's like being a woman, especially a beautiful one. Yeah, you're not oppressed, ladies, you're popular, is what that is. But it is daunting, I'll give you that. But you know how I deal with it? As one who stands for the principle of individualism, I focus on getting to the next stage, where no one is famous for these ideas because people have them all over the world already. If you feel like you're too famous, try and make someone else more famous than you. Of course, this becomes more difficult the more famous you get. You have to look further ahead. Yeah, it's a greater challenge, but hey, the rewards are greater. The valor, the glory, the material wealth, whatever turns you on. And we're all free to stop whenever we've earned enough. And we're free to ask for help whenever we need it. As another personal choice, we can regulate at will. But as we've often found, the most effective way to get help is also often the most ethical way, and it's to ask for help on someone else's behalf. Through all the folks I met on Saturday just now, and all the questions they've had for me, so either random funny questions or probing questions they've had saved up, the question I got asked most often was, how's Brian? And I'm not sure what to say, but Brian's usually pretty chipper about everything. He's the Doge, for anyone who's new. He's Honey Badger Radio's one-man producer and DJ. Presses all the buttons, tweaks all the knobs, and reads out the news and talks about it in a clear and audiogenic tenor. Brian laughs all the time, and he never cries. For real. The first time I met him in real life, in the proverbial flesh, it was in Calgary at the rental or whatever it was. He came through the door, and one of the first things he said was, "They lost my bag, but it's okay." That shit had his PlayStation in it. It was just, it's cool, they'll probably find it. And they did in the end, but I'd still, if it was me, I'd be dwelling on it. Sometimes angrily dwelling and sometimes quietly dwelling, but always dwellsomely. I'd dwell like you'd never seen a motherfucker dwell before. That's why I travel with just one big rucksack. I don't check baggage. I don't want shit that I might have to dwell about. But Brian doesn't even dwell. It's very much his thing, as the time I've spent with him has only confirmed. Life can take a big old dump on his chest, and he'll be like, "All right, that was a thing. Okay, let's get on with life. Let's get on with this shit." Probably should have rephrased all of that, but never mind. As you may know, if you're not new, or if you are. A couple of weeks ago, while everyone else was getting back from California and sleeping for 12 hibernation cycles, Brian was getting back from California and going to the doctor and getting diagnosed with testicular cancer in one ball and isolated pelvic regions. So they removed the offender. Brian's now down to one ball, and he's getting chemo for the remainers. If I just unironically described a kind of cancerous tumour as a Remainer. I didn't do that. That was uncalled for. Sorry, Brian. But yeah, no, this is serious. That wasn't just a setup for this joke. Brian has cancer for real. It sucks. And to top it off, his dog died the following week. I'm not making it up. She was old and it wasn't unexpected, but they were old friends, so it's very sad. And then he got an all body rash from the anesthetic. Basically, God is pulling a Job on Brian. God did that thing again, where he visited the devil and they got drunk and played cards. And God went, "Who's the sweetest, most personable, most hardworking human we could find? Zot! Have the shittiest week of your life, faggot." And the devil's like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck?" So how's Brian? Brian's optimistic. And he has some stats on his side. Testicular cancer has one of the highest survival rates compared with other cancers. Prostate is rarer but deadlier. Testicular is more common but less deadly. So in all probability, he's going to be fine. But the chemo will be leaving him out of commission and out of pocket regarding the medical expenses. It's my understanding that medical practitioners in the USA are expensive but competent, which I'm very happy about, because we badgers can do what we badgers do best. Boom! I mean, crowdfund. Crowdfunding is the ring of heart. you materialistic Captain Planeteers with your earth and your fire and your wind and your water. This is how the ring of heart works. And it's the only one that's actually real. So yeah, go to feedthebadger.com. I'll leave the link in the description and in the end screen thing. And help us give Brian some paid leave. Patrons of mine. Hello, patrons of mine. I'll put this video in the Patreon feed, but I won't charge you for it. So if you like this video, by all means, take your usual $1 and go put it in the Doge kitty. That's what I'm calling it. It's funny to me. And of course, while Brian is away and busy poning cancer, Honey Badger Radio needs to fill in for him. And frankly, he does the work of two people. Some of us can do the talking but not the OBS. Some of us can do the OBS but not the talking, like me. But I don't think any of us have the combined skills and the time to cover it all. So we have a lot of time and motion to employ, and possibly people. And to top it off, by the way, Honey Badger Radio has had a community strike. So we can't do streams on the channel anymore. Which is basically everything we do now. And it was 3 years ago when the Elliot Rodgers hysteria was happening. We talked about it for an episode. And before that, we made like a 45-second ad video for the episode. And that 45-second ad video is what is now under a community strike. Which is not the same as a copyright strike. It's nothing to do with fair use or anything remotely rigid. It just means someone up there doesn't like it. And it's been upheld. So, as you can imagine, this is some bullshit. This is what happened to V. The Romanian gentleman you just saw and possibly know about. Except it happened enough times for his channel to be removed. And now Honey Badger Radio's got one. But I'm trying not to dwell on it. So not to tell a sob story or nothing, but this is the news, and the news is adversity is upon us. Bear with us while we figure stuff out. First things first, help keep Brian alive. Then we can work on wrestling the anaconda that is YouTube. In the meantime, I have hours of footage of interviews Brian did in Australia with several special guests and several randomers, and interviews the Codger Puppet did with the same people. That's gonna be up on Honey Badger Radio as soon as I can edit a finished thing. And I have a lot of panel footage from VidCon that I might show you on this channel, but I'm still a little bit worried about this, Hank. If people attend VidCon to collect footage to later use in videos that criticize not just ideas but focus the outrage of their followers on individuals, they will not be welcome back. What does that mean, Hank? I've got a lot of footage of ideas being discussed. Unfortunately, they're all being discussed by individuals. When I play footage of the ideas being expressed at VidCon, do I have to blur out everyone's face and digitally alter everyone's voice and not let anyone know who is saying these things? Because I'm not defeat the who, what, when, where, why, and how, Hank. The first of these is who. What is it that you are banning from VidCon, Hank? It appears to be journalism. Did Anita convince you that journalism is a form of harassment? I don't blame you, Hank. She has gypsy powers of some sort. It's the only thing that explains any of this. But so does V. And V had his gypsy powers taken away. And Brian appears to be on the business end of a gypsy curse. Something here is not right with the gypsy gods. But keep calm and badger on. I'm going to publicly dissect the statements of individuals I filmed at VidCon, and we'll see where you go from there, Hank. Don't go breaking your own rules or anything. He's not listening. I'm just being rhetorical. So yeah, thanks for coming out, everyone. And when I say everyone, I'm talking to 5 different cities on 3 different continents in the past month or so. Thanks to all of you, and thanks for the presents. Always thoughtful, mostly alcoholic, which I always enjoy. Give me a while to get back to everyone I said I'd get back to, and give me a poke if I forget you, and give me some requests, something daft I can respond to. I'm not letting this genre die. It was funny, Mike. It was funny. All right, goodbye, and fuck cancer, and praise CAC.